because we're in Buddhasara still. There's one thing here we have to do. This one, live now.
Live now? Oh, live now. Okay.
Don't hit the heart.
No, don't hit play. No
Only
matter
one.
what you feel like.
See, now it's Swamini ji.
You live in Oakland.
I live in Oakland, right on Lake Merritt, yes.
Lake Merritt. That's a nice area, no?
It is. It's very nice.
Very nice.
Been there a long time.
Oh, even it's got a card.
Oh, I can write it down.
If you want to be on ABG's name.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Shin sent something with you? No. Yes. I saw Shin here. Then I remember.
Okay, but I may have left it in the wrong purse.
Oh, okay.
I apologize to
That's
Shin.
okay.
I'll mail it to sales.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shall we chant the first and last two stanzas of the Dhyana Shloka?
Sure, from memory it's going to be interesting.
Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyai Stavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Jnayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginaha Yasyantanna vidusura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Last time we saw the example of the tortoise. What does the tortoise do? It's able to retract at will what? Its organs. Up to then, that is the example. It retracts at will the organs, but it does so out of fear. Here it's not out of fear. The jnani is not afraid. The jnani is able to detach or, de-link the sense objects from the sense organs when it is, at will. So there is not a sense of addiction or addictive connection to objects or things. We saw that. Kurmongani vasarvashah indriyanam indriyarthebhyah. So the sense organs are just existing for themselves. They are in their own vasha. Tasya prajna pratisthita. The prajna, the knowledge of such a person, is said to be abiding prajna, as opposed to fleeting prajna. Not a butterfly prajna, a staying prajna. And so, in the same way, now the Bhagavad Gita is going to go into detail of how this freedom and flexibility with regard to the objects that delight can be achieved. And Bhagavan Krishna accedes and accepts the fact that it is not easy in the next one. It is not something glossed over. Like, just go sit on a hill in a cave, and then if you don't look at the shops, at the restaurants, at the movie holdings, then you won't feel like seeing a movie. Simple bus. And sometimes, because of the way in which the religion has progressed, it has become exceedingly, what's the word? And this is true the world over. It has become when the practices become the goal, this is a problem. So it becomes kind of rigid. And even among Vedantins, there is a kind of rank and order. I'm a better Vedantin than you. Why? Because I can do this and you can't. And what is this? I have conquered this and I have done that and I have gone on so many pilgrimages, one may say. So there is a kind of a showmanship. Or on the other hand, sometimes we hear this kind of a talk too. What is the point? You've been going to Bhagavad Gita class and you're still getting angry. What is... this usually comes from the significant other who is not going to the classes. So, so like this, so there is a lot of do's and don'ts, not coming from the Shastra, but coming, the Shastra, sieved through the sieve called the brain. So it filters whatever it wants, and then collectively also there is a certain rigidity. And then the feeling is that somehow you give up everything. This is the quintessential idea of how one becomes a sadhu. You give up everything. You run up a mountain with your little kamandalu, and then, and then with your little stick, and then you sit there, and then, something happens. There is an aha moment, and then quote unquote enlightenment happens. And of course, what is that? The most stereotypical understanding of enlightenment is what? Sit under a tree. When you sit under a tree, you definitely get enlightened. What is the enlightenment? Don't sit under the tree because there are birds above. So here there is a kind of, this is what is called spiritual romanticism. And in a lot of works of Vedanta also, what is given, because of the constraints of time and pages, whatever it was, usually the qualifications for being a good adhikari are given, and then the knowledge is given, and then that's it. There seems to be a missing link between the qualifications and how one gets to the knowledge. And the Bhagavad Gita here dispels that mysticism around here, that spiritual romanticism in the next two verses. Let us see how we'll chant it together. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya
रसवर्जं यशोऽप्यस्य
Param drishtva nivartate
परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते
Vishaya vinivartante
विषया विनिवर्तन्ते
Niraharasya dehinaha
निराहारस्य देहिनः
Rasavarjam rasopyasya
रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य
Param drishtva nivartate.
परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते.
Yeah. So niraharasya dehinaha. Dehin. Deha plus in. Meaning the one who is in the deha is called dehin. So the indweller of the body is called dehin. So for this person who is in the body mind sense complex, this jiva, who is this person? Niraharasya dehinaha. Nirahara means the one who is on a fast. What kind of a fast? A sense objects fast. Yeah. Meaning the person is perhaps living in the ashram, has become an inmate. Inmate of what? Zenitentiary. So, and the ashrams are always located outside. For this reason, so that this training is easy, so that the teachers are not running after the students who are running after other students. So therefore you have to, some discipline is needed for this adhikaritvam. So the ashrams are always in beautiful places, but away from the din of the everyday society. So you pluck the brahmachari from the community and put him or her in the ashram. And then there is no contact. There is no contact with the ice cream, with the nice tasty buns, and with all the street food, and what else? I mean, street food, not so much in India, unless you're ready to sit in the bathroom for the next 3 days. But, whatever things one is used to, some snacks, movies, visiting other people's houses, all those things that one is happy and one is used to doing, those things are not there. It's just, the bell rings and then there is food. The food is given. You are not asked, what will you have today? Here's the menu. The ashram menu has only 2 items. What is that? Dal and rice one day, next day rice and dal. And, it is kept, what is that? Nondescript and bland, so that you don't get attached to the ashram food, and then it's a discipline, it's a tapas. You're not going there to eat. Why would anybody in their right mind go to an ashram to eat? You don't go there to eat. Your purpose of going there is to feed a different kind of a hunger. So all this has to become secondary, and the primary hunger for this knowledge is fed. And to show that these are all things you don't need. Okay? So then after 2 or 3 years, after the course is over, this fellow is let loose into the world. And what does the first thing the person wants to do? Go to the shop and get a masala bun, because they've not had any fun with the bun for 3 years or 4 years, however the long the course is, or get some snacks or do something that, that one has not done, because there is that feeling. So in this example, what do we see? We understand the fact that even after 3 years of deprivation, the taste for this, whatever this is, has not gone. It has just been kept in abeyance. Correct? So as soon as the inmate becomes an outmate, goes out of the ashram, and then hits the shops, hits the theatres, and says, oh my God, I was deprived of all this. I really need to make up for 3 years of this. So that shows what? That the taste is still there. So for 3 years, that dehi was nirahara dehi. Nirahara means the one who was on a sense object fast. Ahara, ahriyate, that which is taken in, not just food, but all kinds of things. So, whatever that was taken in has been stopped. It has been stopped, but what has happened? Rasa varjam. It has been stopped, but then the rasa for it is still there. Rasa means the taste buds are clamoring and are alive and they are saying, feed me. The sense organs are saying, feed me. The eyes are saying, take me to a movie. The ears are saying, where is my heavy metal music? I'm sick of bhajans. All these things. Perhaps. And then, so that shows that it's not so simple. The process of growing into a jnani is not so simple as making a U-turn away from the sense objects. Because that anybody can do. You can repress. In fact, we are very good at repressing. We can be on the best of behaviors for a long time and, pretend to not want things and be fine with it, correct? But then, the repression is not spiritual growth. This mantra, this verse is telling us very, wonderfully. This one and the next one are very important for this. Repression is not spiritual growth. Pretending the taste doesn't exist is not spiritual growth. Some work has to be done. And that work is not, optional. So one has to work with the longing. He says in the second line, by finding a sense of belonging with Brahman. When you have a sense of belonging, there is no longing. The longing is there because there is no sense of belonging. There is an alienation. And that alienation is the primary problem with the human, human being. The problem with the human being is that I am unfree, I am alienated from the whole, I am disconnected, disenchanted, all these things. So first the disenchanted person is taken away to a nice quiet place, and then after that, deprived, goes through a de-addiction program. But the addiction is still there. Where? As a possibility, as a potential. The Hiranyagarbha for the addiction is sitting here very much. As a potential, it is there. And then what happens? Dejection starts. So one goes, what is that shop in the town? No, in the India, in Anekatti. What Trader Joe's in Anekatti? No, in Coimbatore.
Giris.
Nilgiris. Yeah, so that Nilgiris shop was like the Upalakshana, the metaphor for everything that one was deprived. And then, when the bus would go or somebody would go to the city, all the brahmacharis would clamor and go there. And then once you've had your fun and once you've gone to the restaurant and eaten something or purchased something for yourself, then there is a feeling of dejection. I haven't grown spiritually. How am I going to be a jnani? How am I going to be like Swamiji when I'm not able to I'm not able to go without this? And even after having gone without this, there is this longing. The longing is still there. And so the longing has to be worked through because the longing is there because of the alienation. So the longing is there because of the alienation. So the longing has to be worked through param drishtva. Param is Brahman. So get in touch with param, and that param being yourself. But then of course all the other things come in. Teacher comes in, teaching comes in, and a committed pursuit comes into the picture. And after all this, what happens? Na nivartate. The longing also drops. This is something which all of us have experienced. The longing also drops. Because all the actions, all our actions, and I really mean, when I say all, I mean all actions come from desire. And then, so in order to be what the Bhagavad Gita says, a non-actor, quote unquote, You should really, ideally, the person without desires or without binding desires only can accomplish. So in the beginning, I can hold the sense organs. And then after that, what? The longing will still be there. I look at the longing longingly and wave goodbye to it, and I just watch the longing. And at the same time, I'm being filled up with the teachings, and then the longing also slowly drops. That is what this verse is saying. Niraharasya dehinah, for the person who has been, starved of the sense objects, rasavarjam api rasaha asti. But then when will the rasa go? Rasa means longing. When will the rasa go? When the Vedanta Sara goes in the head, the rasa goes. The Sara and rasa. Sara means the essence of Vedanta is in the heart, and that displaces slowly or dries out the rasa. And so this is what Bhagavan Krishna is telling us, is to be patient with ourselves and not be in a rush to drop the longing, because sometimes you think you have dropped the longing, but really you really haven't. So this is what he's telling us, and Adi Shankara in his commentary has done a wonderful thing, because Vishayaha vinivartante. Usually Vishaya means what? The objects, sense objects, correct? Here he has changed the definition to sense organs. That makes a very big difference. Because it's not that the sense objects return, it's the sense organs return having contacted the objects and not being affected by them. That is the idea. So a person of knowledge, or the person who is a jnani wannabe, and in the process of being a jnani, a baby jnanin, what will the baby jnani do? The baby jnani will look at all the things from a dispassionate place. We have a slight longing, little heartstring is pulled here, pulled there. Oh, that would have been nice. Oh, yes, I think that would have been wonderful. But you just watch that and you keep going. That is the whole idea. And that whole thing is described very beautifully here. So, niraharasya dehinaha vishayaha vinivartante. And then rasavarjam. Rasavarjam means deprived of the objects of pleasure or objects of addiction. The longing still is there, and the longing also falls away when the jnanam comes. So the jnanam, how does it come? The jnanam does not come as an event happening to the self. Because if quote unquote enlightenment is an event, then the event becomes bigger than the self. And an event is that which unfolds in time, because in time A, event A, B was not there. Before unenlightened, now enlightened. So time, A, there was no enlightenment. Time B, there is enlightenment. That means time becomes absolute. We know that time is relative. So time cannot operate upon the self as though it is absolute, and the self becomes finite. There is moksha hanihi, loss of the possibility of moksha, leading to anirmoksha prasanga. Anirmoksha prasanga means a situation where there is no moksha. Then what are we doing here? Why are we here? So therefore, this, even though this is our spiritual, romantic definition of enlightenment, is sitting under a tree and suddenly, wow, yes, and we would like it to be that way, because it, I don't like this everyday working with the emotions. I don't like working with the longing. It's so painful and it's so uncomfortable. I don't like all these emotions coming up. I don't want to love them up. I don't want to work with them. I don't want to observe them. I want everything quick, nicely packaged, wrapped up. After all, this is the holiday season, and I want, a present. Yes, the present should come. The guru should call and give a wrapped present. I saw one card. Somebody gave a card to somebody else, and they showed it to me. And on the front of it, all the Dalai Lama's Shishyas had a big wrapped box, and it was Dalai Lama's birthday in this card, and it said, "Happy birthday, Dalai Lama, here is your present." The other lamas are singing. Inside, he has opened it. When you opened it, he has opened it and it's empty. And he says, "Oh, you got me nothing. It's always what I wanted." Thank you. You know, so this is what we want. We want the enlightenment to be just given. And that's why all the salvific traditions will start to look good. Because I'm this helpless, hapless thing, save me. And then somebody, no, what is that? Somebody comes and saves. And then, oh, now I feel good because I'm not an agent in my own, in my own growth. I want to be picked up. This is all spiritual romanticism and coming from my own ajnana longing, ajnana-based longings, to be loved up, to be chosen, all these things. So, to be rescued. And here, Vedanta repatriates you with yourself. But I want to be rescued. Well, you don't need to be rescued. I'm being bitten by a snake. The snake is a rope. Yeah. And there is no bite at all. You know. So what is this enlightenment? Now I'm getting very, disenchanted. What is this really enlightenment? And it is just a growing clarity as these longings drop. There is more. The longings are like the eclipses. Rahu and Ketu eclipsing the sun. Like the clouds just now, the fog, the clouds covering the sun as it were. The sun cannot be covered. In fact, that which cannot be covered is the source of life called the sun. Because of the sun, we see the covering. And likewise, this sun-like Atma is without covering. And then, as though the longings, the desires, the fears, the tears, these are the broods of the longings. They are the children and the grandchildren of the longings. They come and they as though eclipse my own glory and they hide the glory from myself. So as the longing drops, you feel lighter. That's why it's called enlightenment. You feel lighter. There is a concomitant relationship, an inverse concomitant relationship between the dropping of the longings. You are not dropping the longings are dropping on their own as the knowledge is being embraced. As you start committing to the knowledge. And so the growing clarity and the dropping of the longings increases. So self-knowledge is not one aha moment sitting under the tree. That's not the kind of dropping we are talking about. We're talking of dropping the longings. And so it's not one aha moment. It's more of a growing clarity. Growing clarity where I see myself more and more clearly. And so it's not an instantaneous thing that happens. That somebody bops you on the head with a peacock feather, and then say, okay, you are enlightened. Blink, blink, okay, now what? It's not like that. It is something that is a process. And whenever something is a process, then we have to bring in compassion for the self. Because a process means it is not linear, because and the human being is a complicated pashu, animal. So it's not a linear growth. It's always backtracking. Oh, but I left that behind. No. I think I'll just go get that. It's like a person throws out the garbage. We did that yesterday. We thought we had thrown out something. And then goes and brings it back. No, I think I shouldn't have thrown this. I think I should get this. And then throws it out again. No, I changed my mind. There's one more thing I wanted. I want that back. Then, no, I want that back. So this vikalpa, this sankalpa vikalpa has to go. And once it is given up, you just work with the feelings. And that working with the feelings here requires titiksha, patience, and requires shraddha, faith that this is okay. Whatever is happening, it's a faith that overrides all other doubts. And then there is also karuna for the self. Self karuna has to be there. And in the spirit of this karuna, in the Bhashya he says, Adi Shankara says that the Vishayas, are figuratively implied by the word objects, but we need to take it as the sense organs. The organs are what we are talking about. And the organs, the sense organs are, as it were, back belonging to this person. Before, what happened to the sense organs? They were farmed out. They were grazing in other pastures. So you really don't have sense organs because they have left. They are somewhere else. The mind is somewhere else. Everything is somewhere else. Now, after this period of training, what has happened? The sense organs have come back. The longing is also there. So the two of them sit in the same place inside the dehi uncomfortably. The sense organ looks at the longing and says, oh, I should be out there fulfilling this. The longing looks at the sense organs longingly. Why are you here? Go out and, Yeah. So a little bit of discomfort. It's like an uncomfortable marriage. It is there. But the longing drops slowly. In other words, you grow out of the longing because, you cannot just suppress it. You can discipline the mind, you can discipline the body, but you allow the longing to just be grown out of. And that is a very beautiful thing to watch in oneself and in others, growing out of that longing. It's very, very nice, to watch that happen. And so that is basically, and then Adi Shankara concludes this verse by saying that in the absence of complete abidance of jnana, there is no freedom from the longing. The longing will still be there unless and until one fully abides in the knowledge, the longing will still be there. And then he says that therefore the wisdom, one should focus on the knowledge, because when one stabilizes in the knowledge, then what happens? When the knowledge is stable, the longing has to go. This is what the whole thing is. And then the next verse, the 60th one, has a caveat, because after that we are going to see how this whole derangement can take place. So the 60th verse is a caveat on the same level, on the same lines. Let us read that. Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Purushasya vipaschitaha. Purushasya vipaschitaha. Indriyani pramathini.
Indriyani pramatini.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Indriyani pramathini.
Indriyani pramatini.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Yeah, so this is a caveat. Why should I be patient with myself? Why should I be compassionate with my passions? This is the, this is the answer given. Because, even for the one who is a vipaschit usually means jnani. But here vipaschit means visheshena pashyati, vigilant. A person who is very vigilant, somebody who is committed on this path, somebody who is very vigilant, even that person can be, temporarily hijacked by the sense organs and the sense objects conspiring to be together. This is what the whole thing is. So, yatataha means someone who is making an effort. Not the one who is just being carried away and lives their life as they want. No. Somebody who is committed to this knowledge and who knows what to do to get adhikaritvam, the one who wants to be a jnani, this person. So such a person who is a vipaschit means a witness. The one who is a sakshi of whatever is happening inside. They are working with themselves, they are working with their longings. And yatataha, yatataha purushasya. So for the one who is constantly vigilant and constantly working with the longings, what happens sometimes? Yatataha api, even api means in spite of that, kaunteya. Kaunteya here is a epithet of who? Arjuna. Why? Arjuna's mother is Kunti. And so he addresses, the Lord addresses him, Partha, Kaunteya, Anagha, and then, so many epithets, and sometimes the epithets are very in keeping with Arjuna's feelings. Usually Partha and Kaunteya are when he is, feeling vulnerable. Mama's boy. Yeah, in Sanskrit, because of the grammar, you can derive the offspring through a particular pratyaya. Dasharathi, ing, Dasharatha plus ing, then Adi Vriddhi takes place, Dasharathi, Kaunteya, and so like this, Kuntehe apatyam, Kaunteya. So like this, Kaunteya means, Mama's boy. Why Mama's boy? Because with all these longings and vulnerabilities, not knowing what to do, this is the one. So, yatataha. So, why does one have to be compassionate and patient with oneself in the process of this growth? Because the self-flagellation is not going to do anything. That's going to be a worse setback. It's going to be a worse setback than the longings themselves. Longings you can handle, but longings plus self-criticism, longings plus self-flagellation is worse. So, yatataha api kaunteya purushasya, yatataha purushasya, for the person who's been vigilant, who is a vipaschit, who is, who's been witnessing oneself and who has viveka, vairagya, etc., an intelligent person, indriyani pramadhini. These stupid sense organs, what do they do? Haranti, they hijack, they take away, from hrid to take away, haranti. These organs, then what kind of organs? Pramadhini indriyani. Pramadhini means the organs that keep making mistakes. The fallible organs, and also the organs that cannot stay in one place. They are agitated. The agitated sense organs, because of the longing, what do? They hijack the mind. Haranti manaha. How do they hijack the mind? Prasabham. Prasabham means with himsa, with a lot of violence. Violently they take control of the mind. They establish another empire, and the mind is kept hostage. And the mind says, but I thought I was supposed to be in charge. Shut up. We are in charge. Who are you? You are a nobody. All the time you're just complaining and simpering and what? Atma-jnanam. Shut up. Enough. You have studied so much, 2.5 chapters of the Gita. What has happened? Nothing. Shut up. Now we are going shopping. You're not going to do anything. Now we are going to do this. Now we are going on a pillage of all the sense organs. Whatever we want, we are going to do. You are not going to pick up a Vedanta book. You're not going to attend even a single more lectures. Enough of study. Alam adhitena. Enough of study. Now it's time to have fun. No, but your study was also fun. Shut up. We are in charge. Oh, okay. The mind is locked up by the sense organs who have conspired together to violently. So there is that violence in the sense that the poor mind is making a few appropriate noises. Oh, I don't think this is such a good idea. Keep quiet. Who asked you to talk? All this time you were in charge. Were you happy? Well, no. See, that's what. Now it's time for us to give a try. Vedanta doesn't work. No, but how do you know that? The mind is protesting mildly. Vedanta, I think it works. I think you're wrong. No, shut up. It doesn't work. What is this? Just a heady thing all the time. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. What is this? No time, no other life or what? All the time, sitting and listening to things. Shravanam. I'm sick of Shravanam. I want something else. And you are locked up right now. And the mind says, "Theek hai, okay. Ye bhi theek hai." And the poor mind is just watching this. Haranti prasabham. The mind has been taken hostage. Yeah, like Sita. See, that is what the whole thing is. Yeah. Sita is the mind. And the mind has been taken hostage by the Ravana, the 10-headed Ahankara. Yeah. And so here the mind is not available for who? Even the most intelligent person, the Vipaschit, the one with Viveka, endowed with Vairagya. Oh, should I start feeling depressed because of this verse? No. This verse is not to make one feel depressed. It is to comfort one. Just like when we studied at the Thanksgiving retreat, what did we study? How long did Indra take to gain this knowledge? 101 years he had to live with his teacher. 101 years. 32-year increments. And last time he got a free pass, only 5 years. And after 101 years, he said, "Okay, thank you for the teachings." So then I explained at that time, because we discussed this part of the Chandogya in the introductory meeting. I said, "I'm not telling you this so that you don't come back tomorrow." I'm telling you this, you take heart. Even someone has evolved as Indra, a celestial, takes 101 years. What to talk of us? We are in good company, And the same thing happens even in the end, towards the end of the Chandogya Upanishad. There is Satyakama's student is there. Satyakama has many students, and the graduation takes place. And the graduation speech is talked about, the valedictory sessions, everybody got their Vedanta certificates, except Upakosala. Ayyo. Poor Upakosala, the lone brahmachari, sitting there in the ashram. Everybody was told to go get married, go teach, go do whatever you want, you've done. You finished your studies. And the teacher gives them a green signal, and the teacher's wife packs them some chapatis to, take on the journey and dispatches them, except for who? Upakosala. Upakosala is sitting in front of the fire, poking the fire absently, and tears are running down his eyes. I have been held back. Everybody graduated. I have failed Vedanta class. I have failed. And the teacher's wife, a very kind lady, Satyakama's wife, goes to him and says, I have made some nice food, eat it. He's so sad, he cannot even say no. Silently he shakes his head, he says, I can't even think of eating that. And he's just sitting there by the embers of this fire and not saying anything, weeping into the fire. He's sitting there. And the wife takes a pity on him and goes and talks to her husband. Look, I don't think it's right that you sent all his classmates away. And now the lone brahmachari is there. And Satyakama thinks about it and he says, well, he needs to learn more. He hasn't learnt. That's why he's here. Then teach him, she says. He says, okay. But Satyakama does a surprising thing. The next morning he goes on a speaking tour, leaving the brahmachari right there crying in front of the fire. And then, and the wife is sad, looking at him. She can't eat her food because whatever she cooks, he's not eating. And she tries to take care of him and mother him. He won't have anything of it. He's just sitting there with a long face. And then finally she tells him, instead of just sitting in the fire, at least light the fire. Light the fire, do some japa, do some yajna, do some upasana. And then the magic starts to happen. That weeping into the fire, for as long as Satyakama, the teacher, was gone, the teacher is always on the move, and the teacher went. Teacher kept the student in the ashram and then went without teaching. And so after he lights the fire again, he listens to the wife of the teacher, and he lights the fire again, and the weeping purifies him of the longings and whatever he was not seeing. He sees and the fire takes pity on him, because this is how the story goes, because the Upanishad is always in the form of the dialogue. The dialogue, the fire says, hey, Upakosala, don't cry into me because I'll be put out. Pun intended. So don't put me out. Why are you crying like this? You're scaring me because you're going to put me out. And then he explains, not only did he tell me that I have not learnt, he did not even teach me. He kept me back. I failed the course, and then I'm sitting here by myself. Everyone else passed, even the someone who I thought was stupid has gone, and I'm sitting here, and I don't know anything. And then the teacher's wife, I heard them talk. The teacher's wife said, "At least teach him," and the teacher said, "Yes, but he has gone away." And the fire said, "Don't worry. I will teach you. I'll teach you a little bit." So some dialogue happens. I mean, this is just for us to show that the dialogue is happening, because even though Shravanam should be enough, and it is the Mukhya Sadhana, sometimes it is not enough, because there are pratibandhas. There are all kinds of obstacles, coverings, longings in the way. So this little meditation is crying into the fire, purified some of those things. Then Satyakama comes back and says, "Wow, you look like you're ready to go. You look like you know everything. I'm going to send you home, but before that, tell me what you know." And that is how, he knows that he knows. So like this, even someone who was, and Upakosala was not a, dull student. He was very intelligent, but some block was there. So even someone who is very intelligent, there could be a block where the mind is temporarily harnessed, by the sense organs. And then what happens? Harati prasabham manaha. And then after that, what? Even though someone is striving very diligently, and then, the sense organs of the persons, go towards the object. And so, not to feel bad, because the Puranas are full of such examples. Vishwamitra is a very important one. The story of Vishwamitra? Vishwamitra was a sage. Actually, he was a warrior, but he wanted to be called a Maharshi, a great sage. So he stood on one leg and did all kinds of things, and caused a drought where he was, because the heat of the tapas caused a drought. Maybe that's why here something, we don't know. Maybe somebody is doing tapas. But tapas in the wrong way, meaning he was just trying to repress, not work through. And so the celestials sent him a Menaka, a heavenly nymph, and he's closed his eyes, he's in meditation. Chan, chan, chan. All her anklets and bells and everything, and her perfume. And so he's in meditation. He opens one eye to look. Oh, maybe something is there. Then after seeing her beauty, both the eyes fly open. And then he temporarily forgets his quest, his mission, his goal. And then he writes that, look, sometimes prarabdha means one's own karmic residue is too great. And right now I have to marry this lady. I have to be with this lady. And then after that he picks up the thread. So like this, the hijacking happens. And how to resolve the hijacking is given in the next verse. Where is that? Tani sarvani sanyamya
Tani sarvani sanyamya
yukta asita matparaha
yukta asita matparaha
vashehi yasyendriyani
vashehi yasyendriyani
tasya prajna pratisthita.
tasya prajna pratishtitaha
Pratisthita, prajna feminine. Tasya prajna pratisthita.
tasya prajna pratishtita
Tani sarvani samyamya. Tani sarvani samyamya. Yukta asita matparaha. Yukta asita matparaha. Vashehi yasyendriyani. Vashehi yasyendriyani. Tasya prajna pratisthita.
tasya prajna pratishtita
Yeah, tasya and prajna, tasya, akara followed by a conjunct consonant causes a dvitvam. Dvitvam means a doubling in the pronunciation. So we cannot say tasya prajna, tasya prajna. There is that tasya prajna pratisthita. Do you hear that? Tasya prajna pratisthita. Repeat. Tasya prajna pratisthita. Yeah. So, when a short vowel is followed by a conjunct consonant, it causes a doubling in the pronunciation. Tasya prajna. Okay? Like Rama Prasad, like that. So, Tani sarvani sanyamya. Sanyamya means putting them in order. What tani? All the indriyani. Tani. So how to get out of this situation is given. This is a dangerous situation where the mind has been hijacked totally. How to get out of this situation? Tani sarvani sanyamya. Sanyamya doesn't mean controlling. Sanyamya means managing these sense organs with the help of the mind, releasing the mind from their hold. How to do that? Yuktaha, the one who is together. Together with himself, together as the witness, the one who is available for this, does that. Yukta asita. Asita means may the person sit. Asanam, may the person sit in one place and contemplate upon me. Matparaha. Matparaha means may I be the ultimate end for this person who is hijacked by the longings. In other words, the longings are put at the altar of surrender. That's why it's called altar, because it has the power to alter me. Yes. So without the altar of surrender, I'm helpless in the face of these longings. And that's what, is very successful about AA. You know AA? Yeah, AA. What is the third one? The third point is that I am helpless. In the face of this, there is a higher power. Here too, in the face of these longings and these addictions to the day-to-day, addiction to samsara, that is the bhava roga, that is the samsara roga, this addiction, in the face of this addiction, I am helpless. You are the source and you are my resource. You help me. So, surrendering to that and help, asking for help, overcoming the helplessness, take my help, Lord says here, Bhagavan says, yukta asid, because that's what makes you a yukta. A person who is together is not the person who doesn't never ask for help. The person who is together is the first one to ask for help, because he or she is the vipaschit, the one who is intelligent. And then asking for help means what? Meditating upon me, because that is manasa prayer. That is manasam prayer, manasam karma. And so praying to me. And what does that do? Many things. Praying to me means I'm not praying upon so many other things. I'm busy praying, and so that itself takes care of the longing, and the prayer also takes care of the helplessness, because I'm confessing in a certain way, I'm confiding in an altar of surrender that does not judge me. And that's why all the devatas, if you look even in this room, they have happy, smiling faces. None of them look mad. None of them look like disapproving. None of them is wagging the finger. Bad, very bad. How can you do this? No. They're all benign, blessing hands, and they all look delighted with you no matter what you've done. Even if one has been bad all year, the Devata looks very good. Devata looks in a benign way, and it's not that presents won't come, presents will come. And because you have done your best, and that is enough. So tani sarvani sanyamya. So in a way, even though it says sanyamya, having managed the sense organs, sit in meditation upon me. In fact, it should be reading, meditating upon me also man is a way of managing the sense organs that keep going towards, like a horse, that keeps wanting to go in the grass and not go on the road, wants to go off into the grass. Even though there are signs that says don't eat the grass, it keeps wanting to go. Like that, so the reins have to be in the hand. For that I need strength, and the prayer and the dedication to Bhagavan gives me the strength, and I'm able to do the shama, resolve the longings. I'm able to do vashehi yasyendriyani, means the one in whose hands the indriyas are. Then what happens? Tasya prajna pratisthita, the one for whom the knowledge is abiding. And here the sannyasi, or the person of wisdom, is talked about. The sannyasi who's a person of wisdom is talked about. So for such a person, the prajna is unshakable, because the organs of actions, prajna means knowledge, the organs of actions by the dint of practice becomes, they become steadfast in the knowledge. They become steadfast in the knowledge. And also, how do they become steadfast in the knowledge? Not just through meditation. The meditation is a preparation for the knowledge. The meditation gives two things. What is it? Chitta naishchalyam, the ability of the mind to stay with itself rather than be hijacked by the thoughts and desires. And chitta shuddhi, purification from the longings, and the ability to stay with the matter and focus. And so those are the two blessings of meditation on Bhagavan. Meditation is not just looking at the ceiling or counting the breaths. That is not what we regard as meditation. The definition of meditation is saguna brahma vishaye manasa vyaparaha, activity for which Ishvara is the object of which activity, mental activity whose object, whose goal is Ishvara. That is the definition of meditation. So when that happens, there is chitta naishchalyam. The mind is able to stay with itself rather than be hijacked by the sense organs. And chitta shuddhi, all the fears, tears, lack of confidence, and all these things in the mind which become an obstacle to the self-knowledge depart. So in a way, it's not that the Shravanam is not enough. Shravanam is completely enough. But then if there are doubts, and if there is viparita bhavana, this is what we are talking about here, is viparita bhavana. Habitual orientations. I know I'm Brahman, but I'm certainly not behaving like Brahman. That is what is taken care of by this. Because that's the difference between somebody who has prajna, but it is not pratisthita, and somebody who has prajna that is pratisthita. More we will see December 2nd and 3rd weekend. January. December 2nd and 3rd is long gone. Yeah, January 2nd and 3rd weekend, and you can all log in. The schedule is given in the ashram website. Okay, so we'll say the closing prayer and stop for any questions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Guru Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions? Om Namah Shivaya. Any questions are there? Doesn't look like any questions here. Any questions here? Okay. So this week, this weekend we had 3 yesterday and 3 today. 6 classes in 2 days. Marathon. So that will keep us going till January 2 and 3. Right?
It's not far away.
It's not too far away. Just after the holidays. Wonderful. Om Namah Shivaya. What to do with all this? Please take care. Should I stop this?
Yes, already.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. And it says, do you want to end your broadcast?
Yes.